we go for our marathon day.
Good morning. I call this meeting of the Job Growth, Energy Affordability, Policy, and Finance Committee to order. Today is Friday, March 17th. First order, happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. The first order of business is approval of the minutes from Tuesday, March 14th. Is there any changes, corrections, or additions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion prevails. The minutes are adopted. Next is the approval of the minutes from March 15th. Let's see. Representative Lehman moves approval of the minutes for March 15th. I think Representative Anderson moved approval of the minutes on the 14th, if I didn't say that out loud. Is there any discussion or changes? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion prevails. The minutes are adopted. Members, the first bill on our agenda for today is House File 1119. Representative Tice. Representative Tice, do you have any amendments to your bill?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No, I don't.
All right. And Representative Tice, please proceed with your testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. The bill before us today is basically putting the construction industry in the same playing field as plumbing and heating folks. And because of brevity, I am going to just send it right over to Ms. Stone.
You ready? Okay. Exciting stuff. Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Remy Stone, Builders Association of Minnesota. Thank you for having this bill before you. We have been working with the Department of Labor and Industry and municipalities for several years right now to address the issue of unlicensed contracting throughout the state of Minnesota. And while we have a whole host of ideas that are currently being drafted, one of the things that came up in our discussions with the Department of Labor and Industry is that unlike unlicensed real estate agents, real estate brokers, appraisers, insurance providers, who are all guilty of a gross misdemeanor when they practice unlicensed activity, the act of practicing unlicensed home building is a simple misdemeanor. And while we know that moving this from a misdemeanor to a gross misdemeanor may not be the complete panacea to a very complex problem, we believe that as a matter of professionalism and parity within the real estate industry, that moving it to a gross misdemeanor should serve as a deterrent for those who desire to build homes, remodel homes, and the like without a license.
Thank you. Representative Tice, is anyone against your bill? You're not Representative Tice.
No.
I'm sorry. Do the testifiers, is there anyone opposed to your bill?
Mr. Chair, not that nobody's come to me and said anything.
It's a public hearing. Are any members of the public who wish to testify in favor or voice concerns with the bill? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment portion, move to member questions. Representative Wagenius and O'Neill on the bill.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I am totally sympathetic with the issue you brought to us. However, I worry about the remedy not being effective because I cannot see a court deciding to put a contractor in jail for a year. It just doesn't seem, and that doesn't make a person who's been subject to a bad guy or a bad woman, that doesn't make them whole. It seems to me that the better way to go would be to pursue an administrative penalty order and to set that up would mean the department could go after somebody, and that part of that penalty order would be to say, you have to get this, whatever construction it is, back to where it is or pay up. And that is an actual fairly easy thing to do, where getting a prosecutor who's probably got 10 a murder and all sorts of other things on their books, it's good. Unlikely the prosecutor could take up the kind of issue you want. But an administrative penalty order does seem to almost fit hand in glove for me, and that's just what I would suggest.
Representative O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wasn't sure if the testifiers were going to respond to that, but I can continue. So I was just wondering how many, or so those that have, those industries that get fined with misdemeanors, because that's what this is right now, if we don't change anything, it's a misdemeanor. Can you give us some examples of other industries that are fined with a misdemeanor for practicing without a license?
Representative Tice to the testifier.
Mr. Chair, Representative O'Neill, other industries that are simple misdemeanors, not a gross misdemeanor, we have, unbelievably, the unlicensed practice of law. We have unlicensed hair braiding. Off the top of my head, I don't have my list in front of me, but there are those are the two activities that we found in our research. We focused primarily on the real estate industry because that's where we operate. We believe that building a house is a pretty significant thing. And while we agree with Representative Wagenius that whether or not it's a misdemeanor or gross misdemeanor will serve as a complete deterrent, we don't know that. We know right now that a gross misdemeanor serves as a deterrent for unlicensed real estate sales. We know that a simple misdemeanor is not serving as a deterrent for unlicensed builders. And in fact, the Department of Labor and Industry provided statistics recently where in the first 3.5 months of this year, they've had 400 complaints come into the agency. 25% of those complaints are all about unlicensed activity in the state. They do have an administrative penalty process, and if somebody repeatedly fails to comply with the APOs, repeatedly, that's when the agency will pursue a gross misdemeanor against those folks.
Representative Tice, any closing comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I do. A lot of times people think it's no big deal, but when something happens catastrophic, like in my hometown of Watkins last year, they had a tornado. And the next day I was at my aunt's house who had substantial damage. And somebody was at the door. I answered the door. It's a builder from who knows where. Handed me a business card, said, here, let me, if you're interested, give me a call. I'll give you a proposal. What happens a lot of times is folks just want to get things done fast, and they don't always check to see if they're licensed or unlicensed. And there's a lot of questionable work that's done. Either it's not done, or they've had money taken and not showing up, and those types of things. And a lot of times for the municipalities to go back and say, hey, we're going to find these guys and prosecute, it's not worth it for a misdemeanor. Maybe if we had it at a gross misdemeanor, people would take it a little bit more seriously and really look into what's happening, because this is something that happens a lot. You'll have all your fly-by-nights come in, and a lot of them are, and I shouldn't say a lot of them, but there's quite a significant amount of unlicensed. People need to be aware of what's going on, and they need to be aware of the penalties if they're caught doing something that just isn't right, because we've seen issues where buildings have collapsed, things have happened, and they're unlicensed builders. At some point, we have to say, it's worth it to at least try and go up to a gross misdemeanor so we can try to get that activity under control. With that, thank you.
Thank you, Representative Tice. With that, the chair renews his motion to have House File 1119 be recommended to pass and referred to the general register. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion prevails. Thank you, Representative Tice.
Thank you.
Representative West. And Representative West, again, on behalf of the committee, thank you for moving your bill, delaying your bill yesterday. I know you had your own testifier who was present, but there were testifiers who had driven from out of town for both Representative Hamilton's bill as well as Representative Salk's bill. So thank you again for doing that, and thank you to the testifier for your patience as well. So Representative West moves that House File 1131 be considered for possible inclusion in a later bill. Representative West, do you have any amendments
No.
to your bill?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. House File 1131 is a bill to grant to Anoka County to help increase at-risk youth who have disabilities to work their way into the workforce and become as self-supporting as we can assist them and allow them to get on with their own lives rather than being stuck with problems that were they're not their own doing. It's $150,000, and I have Jerry Peterson here who has more details on what Anoka County will use that money for.
Welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, my name is Jerry Peterson. I'm the Director of Social Services and Behavioral Health at Anoka County. I'm testifying with Nicole Swanson, one of my partners in this as well, the Director of Jobs and Training, and I'll have her take my seat as soon as, if allowable, as soon as I'm done here. So once again, thank you for this opportunity. Anoka County has long worked from a local perspective to promote and implement common sense projects that assist our local constituents. We're here today asking for support to move our local community forward in a small way by providing some practical pathways for transition-age youth with disabilities to gain competitive employment. In Anoka County Social Services, at any given time, we generally have several hundred individuals that are between the ages of 18 to 21 in what we call transition services. And that number we're seeing growing because of the individuals coming into our service area. The last state data I had goes back to 2014, but they were able to give us a number of about 34 individuals between the ages of 18 and 26 who were competitively employed, who had been receiving some of our disability services through our employment area. We want to do better, and we think we can do better. I do know many efforts are being made by disability providers, advocacy agencies, and others to impact this. However, it's still very difficult to get the current system to prepare and to provide meaningful competitive employment experiences. We believe this small local effort could provide some potential replicable pathways that we could build on. Anoka County has always partnered with schools, disability providers, jobs and training, rehab services, and employers to build these opportunities. We just have a unique opportunity because of how Anoka County is structured in our human services area. We have a really strong relationship and good communication pathways with the Jobs and Training Department, and we think this provides a unique opportunity. So at this time, I would just ask if allowable that Nicole Swanson, the Director of Jobs and Training, could just finish our testimony from the county on this partnership.
Thank you. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Nicole Swanson, and I'm the Director of the Job Training Center for Anoka County and staff to the Anoka County Workforce Center. It's a pleasure meeting with you today to share more about this collaborative community effort in providing enhanced and meaningful training and competitive employment opportunities to youth and transition services. The Job Training Center has a long, successful history of working collaboratively with technical and post-secondary training institutions to develop training and career pathway programs that meet the local and metro area labor market demands. These business relationships allow for a training model with enhanced job opportunities in an integrated employment setting within the community. The Job Training Center would lead efforts with current partners such as Vocational Rehabilitation Services to develop curriculum and provide a customized pre-employment World of Work workshop to establish a baseline of work-appropriate behaviors and expectations. Career counseling using aptitude assessments and interests to assist youth in transition in making informed career decisions and locating competitive employment of their choice is the formula for success both for the job seeker and the employer. On-the-job training opportunities would provide employers partial wage incentives to hire individuals with less experience. However, the incentive provides a compensation on-the-job training for trainees, which allows the trainee hands-on experience in supportive and competitive placement environment. The employer may receive up to 50% of the wages paid to the employee from grants as a cost reimbursement for the OJT. An additional hiring incentive may include the Work Opportunity Tax Credit for those that qualify. This is a federal tax credit available to employers for hiring individuals from certain target groups who face significant barriers to employment. We strongly believe that this model provides comprehensive training led by consumer choice while meeting the needs of local employers, which provide meaningful and self-supporting opportunities. We appreciate the time to testify in front of you today and for your support with this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Representative West, do you have any other testifiers?
No, Mr. Chair.
Are there any other members of the public who wish to testify? We'll close the public comment portion, move to member questions and comments. Representative Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thanks, Representative West, for bringing this bill. Ms. Swanson, how is it going right now with recruiting businesses to work with you and programs for people that fall into this category?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And members of the committee, we have a very active workforce development board with local employers. The Anoka County Workforce Center has a business service representative that does outreach to both local and metro employers. And there's a high need that employers have right now. Very positive response in working with us to give us feedback regarding training opportunities and really their employment opportunities, and really are willing to work with us one-on-one in these opportunities. So we've had a high success in previous years.
Well, that's good to hear.
Representative Clark, or O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was just reading through the bill, and to the author, I just noticed there's no reporting requirements, and when we have a pilot, you typically want to report back your findings and results. So if you just want to maybe add that in at some point, that you want to report back what happened.
Representative Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question. Does the, could you describe the kinds of disabilities this program is specifically addressing? Does it include, for example, mental health as well as other physical disabilities?
Ms. Swanson. Oh, that's fair.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, yes. Its simple answer is yes.
Thank you.
Seeing no additional, Representative Thiessen.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. So, are there any other funds that are available for a program like this that could be applied for, like competitive grants that other counties could also apply for?
That's fair.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, if those grants are or do become available, we would actually would try to enhance our efforts through that. One of the reasons that we are coming at this solely from a county is just from some of our experiences is that those grants aren't always available, and that with our local effort and unique partnerships that we do have, we just wanted to stress and create this opportunity for us as a county.
Representative Thiessen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering if, I mean, you funded some grant programs last year that I think would actually, that were competitive, but that this program would fit in with, and I don't know why we would necessarily jump Anoka to the head of the line instead of competing with other places, but I would consider that.
Thank you. Seeing no additional questions, Representative West, any closing comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, committee members. I actually had the opportunity to tour a Pentair facility in Anoka, right outside Anoka, and it was great to see something like this in action done through RISE. We had youth working paid jobs, adding value to the community and tax revenue, for that matter. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for this to really help the community up in Anoka County. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. With that, Representative West renews his motion to have House File 1131 laid over for possible inclusion in a later bill. Thank you, and thank you again to our testifiers. Representative Freiberg, you got some, you brought a kid with you, so you get to go first.
Mr. Chair,
you.
mental note. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not only did I bring a kid, I brought donuts.
Committee votes aye, and there's no need for this formal presentation stuff.
Oh, my goodness.
And to the members of the majority party, just make sure the members of the DFL caucus start eating it first. Just want to make sure. You never know. I'm just kidding. Welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And you have Representative West moves that House File 1972 be considered for possible inclusion in a later bill. And do you have any amendments to your bill, Representative Freiberg?
Yes, I do. If you could please move the A1 amendment, I'd appreciate it.
Representative West moves the A1 amendment to get the bill in the form the author would like. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion prevails. The amendment is adopted. Representative Freiberg, to your bill.
Thank you. First of all, I appreciate your consideration here. My son's daycare was closed, and it turned out, we found out about it last night, so he came here kind of as an emergency. If I seem to be...
What's your son's name?
Joseph.
Hey, Joseph. No. Joseph, come up here with the chair. Come here.
If you could save a chocolate donut, by the way, I forgot to mention for him. I think that might ease the process here.
We're gonna have some fun with your dad today.
And the donuts are, I should mention, are courtesy of the Old Fashioned Donut Shop in Crystal. So,
Thank you.
so thank you, Chair Garofalo, members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to testify on behalf of House File 1972, which will provide an appropriation for the Minnesota Association of Volunteer Administration. Passage of the bill will go a good way towards strengthening and deepening efforts carried out by the Minnesota volunteer community. These efforts are critically important to the people of Minnesota, especially in today's environment. 35.4% of Minnesota residents volunteered in 2015. We ranked near the top in our nation among the 50 states and Washington, D.C. for our rate of volunteering. However, this ranking does not tell the whole story. We need to more fully and strategically draw upon the skills and talents of volunteers. This modest investment in volunteerism will make it possible for the Minnesota Association for Volunteer Administration to administer evidence-based volunteerism innovation grants aligned with Minnesota Compass measures, and to complete a statewide study of the potential capacity of volunteer efforts to address community challenges and opportunities. With me today, I have Paula Bugan and Carmine Holman, who will provide more background about House File 1972. Do you have anything to say about it, Joe? Okay, well, talk into the microphone. Hi. Okay.
All right, welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Thank you. Honorable Chair Garofalo and members of the committee, my name is Paula Bugan. My testimony today is as a community member and someone who has held a number of both paid and unpaid leadership roles in the field of volunteerism over the course of my career. I also had the honor to serve 3 terms on my local school board starting in the mid-'80s, for which I never would have been prepared had it not been through my own volunteer experiences and resulting work experiences due to volunteering. I testify before you on House File 1972, not only because what we are striving to accomplish means a lot to me personally, but more importantly, because of the potential for what can be accomplished for Minnesota and its people through passage of this bill. Minnesota residents will be empowered to make more substantive, high-quality contributions to their communities, while at the same time further developing themselves and becoming more prepared for their first paid job or for advancement in their work if they are already employed. Volunteering creates a pathway for people of a range of backgrounds and skill sets to explore new or different careers, gain insight into their strengths and needed areas of development, and so often gain that development, as well as discover new opportunities. It nurtures aspirations. Entrepreneurship, innovation, and new discoveries show up frequently through the volunteer community. Often the relationships and networks that are established through volunteer experiences propel people to their next level or area of success, and this leads to community and ultimately economic success. I have seen this over and over again. As I move about my community even today, people who volunteered years ago come up to me to express gratitude for having started their lifelong careers through well-implemented volunteering. As cited in your handout that you have, the report, Volunteering as a Pathway to Employment, Does Volunteering Increase Odds of Finding a Job for the Out of Work? That report shows volunteers have a 27% higher odds of finding a job after being out of work than non-volunteers. Volunteers without a high school diploma have a 51% higher odds of finding employment. Volunteers living in rural areas have a 55% higher odds of finding employment. I may have misstated that. The one about high school diploma is 51% higher odds. Finally, as much of my testimony has focused on the benefits of volunteering for volunteers in relationship to employment, passage of this bill is just as valuable to advancing other Minnesota priorities. The bill calls for evidence-based volunteerism innovation grants targeting grantee, that means local, selected Minnesota Compass measures. According to Minnesota Compass is a social indicators project that measures progress in our state, its 7 regions, 87 counties, and larger cities. Compass tracks trends in topic areas, and I will not elaborate on those topic areas, and reports on progress. This can provide a framework and baseline information for measuring progress in Minnesota's priority areas. Each grantee can be an important part of the solution to challenges and opportunities confronting Minnesota and its people. All of us will benefit from the investment. I urge you to build a stronger future for Minnesota through your support and passage of House File 1972. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Very good, very good. A tough chair up here now. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony. We've got a tough chair up here, so just.
Yeah, I guess so. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Carmeet Bowman. I'm the Executive Director of the Minnesota Association for Volunteer Administration. And thank you so much for taking the time to seriously consider this bill. Volunteers provide our state with some of the most valuable and cost-effective contributions to our economy. A report from the Corporation on National and Community Service found that 62.6 million adults, almost 25% of our American population, volunteered through an organization or business last year. 7.8 billion hours in 2015, worth an estimated $184 billion. Based on the independent sector's estimate of the average value of a volunteer hour. I want to call your attention to a letter that was sent to you by one person named Cherise Smith, who demonstrates for you how volunteerism can turn into paid and secure employment. So if you would take the time to read Cherise's letter, I think you will find it extremely impactful. Organizations who rely upon volunteers are key players in our economy, adding to the overall economic output of Minnesota and reducing the burden on government spending. Volunteerism also creates the conditions where the economy can flourish by investing in people through training, boosting skills, and improving the employability of people on the margins of the labor market. Volunteering can provide excellent public goods and services, especially those that are not available or not available in sufficient amounts due to both market and government gaps. Volunteering fills gaps in supply of goods and services that are desired by their beneficiaries, but are not available from either the private sector or public sector. Voluntary organizations have contributed to the planning and designing of service delivery through powerful advocacy to ensure that services meet the needs of specific groups or individuals. Also, the voluntary sector acts as exemplars of socially responsible business practice to the business community, promoting corporate responsibility by linking business decision-making with ethical values, respect for communities, and the environment. These businesses have therefore been understood as having a double bottom line, being concerned with both economic and social impacts. As well, there are various employee-based volunteer programs in companies. These volunteer programs are viewed as strategic assets in companies, and they're incorporating service into their business planning to respond to their desire to make a meaningful difference in society and strengthen the relationship with employees. A survey conducted by Deloitte states that volunteer programs are viewed as a strategic business initiative, not a nice-to-do employee perk. Companies that connect the dots between talent and volunteerism have an opportunity to strengthen relationships with young employees and will likely be rewarded with happier workers. The more satisfied employees are, the more likely they will remain loyal to the company. Volunteers don't just magically appear in organizations and businesses. Effective utilization of volunteers is inexpensive, but it's not free. This bill will promote innovation in volunteer utilization so that volunteers fill gaps in solving community problems. Funds will also be used to study where Minnesota can improve in tapping into and sustaining the volunteer workforce. In the past 15 years, Minnesota has lost significant infrastructure to promote and enhance volunteerism. The state's number of regional volunteer connection centers decreased from 13 to 4. No state funds have been directed since 2002 to support the vital issues of promoting civic involvement, building skills and expertise of those leading volunteerism, and empowering organizations to partner effectively with volunteers to carry out their missions. There needs to be funding to assure that a statewide study can be done, which will identify the gaps there are in reaching capacity of volunteer efforts to address community challenges and opportunities. While the Minnesota Association for Volunteer Administration, also known as MAVA, has attempted to influence and train leaders of volunteers, it is severely underfunded. To keep abreast of changes in demographic shifts, conduct sufficient research into changes in best practice, and build necessary bridges to assure growing volunteer engagement leadership skills. MAVA is not able to adequately reach all geographic areas to assure that resources are available or to research new methodology that assures impact and investment in Minnesota's vital human resource, its citizens, through volunteerism. Please invest in building volunteerism infrastructure. With funding, we will study the gaps in infrastructure, convene a committee of experts, and enable innovation in addressing community needs through volunteerism. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Representative Freiberg, do you have any additional testifiers?
No, I have some people available as phone a friends if there are any questions from committee members, but that completes our
This is
testimony.
a public hearing, or are there any other testifiers? Please step forward. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Thank you. My name is Christine Van Lith. I have been an employee at Park Nicollet Methodist Hospital for approximately 8 months. I have also been I've been employed there 8 months. I've been a volunteer there for 2.5 years. In the summer of 2015, I found myself unemployed after 30 years. Last summer, I was approached by my volunteer leader who suggested I apply for a position and use her as a reference. It was through my volunteering that I was able to find my current position, where I enjoy my work and encourage anyone who will listen to volunteer. Before I began volunteering and working with the volunteers, I had no idea the impact volunteerism had on the community and the individuals we serve. I have gained a whole new respect for volunteerism. I encourage you to pass this bill because there's no greater gift than the gift of your time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Member comments and questions. Representative West.
Thank you, Representative Freiberg, for bringing this bill. I talked to you briefly earlier saying, this is a good bill. It's good for the employers, it's good for the volunteers, it's good for the organizations. It's just, it's a nice win-win-win, and I'm happy to be a co-author on it. Thanks. So I just wanted to make that known, so thank you for carrying this bill.
Thank you for your support.
Representative Scott.
Thank you. And if we could have one of the past testifiers, Ms. Bowman? Ms. Bowman or? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Bowman, I'm just wondering what you're doing to reach out to our growing senior citizen population, the silver tsunami. And I don't know if I brought it up in this committee before, but with so many the baby boomers retiring, I think our state has a great resource before us. And so I just wonder what your organization is doing to reach out to that population.
The testifier.
Thank you so much, Representative Scott. That is one of the areas that would be included in this study. In the past, MAVA did a study on baby boomers and volunteerism, and we recognize that this is an untapped resource. There needs to be some infrastructure building around this to make sure that we connect baby boomers, retired adults, senior citizens to volunteer opportunities so that they're able to contribute effectively. Part of the reason for this bill is we found if we don't connect well to retired individuals, if we don't have the infrastructure in place in our organizations, they won't volunteer. So part of this is really designed to make sure that we do that outreach in an effective and sustained way. So thank you so much for bringing that up. That is definitely on our radar.
Thank you.
Representative Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since you came back to the table, I just want to say I did read the letter from Cherise Smith, and working in a senior care center, and I thought one of the interesting things there was the volunteer director having the people practice smiling in a mirror so that they presented that kind of a face to a lot of the seniors there. And having relatives in senior care, I know how important that is to have that kind of a positive attitude and smile. So thank you for that letter.
Yeah, she's a remarkable young woman. I have met her. She is flourishing in the job market now, and that is because of volunteerism and the connection between young people and senior citizens. It really is a great story. So thank you for taking the time to read that.
Representative Freiberg, any closing comments?
No, I really appreciate the committee's time and consideration of this important bill.
With that, Representative West renews his motion to have House File 1972 laid over for possible inclusion in a later bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Representative Haley. And Representative Haley, just a request for you and your presenters. The next bill after this is going to be House File 1143, and they actually need to leave at a certain time. So if you could, make sure you take time to get us the information, but just be aware that we have testifiers after these two bills that will need to depart. So, welcome.
That's fine. If you'd like them to go first before the next bill, that's fine with me as well.
Okay. So the chair moves House File 23, or excuse me, Representative Mahoney moves House File 23. No, Representative Metza moves House File 2367 for possible inclusion in a later bill. Representative Haley, do you have any amendments to 2367?
I do not, Chair.
All right. Please proceed with your testimony.
Thank you, Chair and committee members. I appreciate the opportunity to present House File 2367 to you this morning. This is a statewide competitive grant program. The Minnesota Snow Angel Grant Program will establish a competitive merit-based grant to enhance and expand the economic development in Minnesota by way of embracing the Minnesota ski industry and helping to create year-round opportunities in these communities. This bill promotes jobs and robust tourism throughout greater Minnesota. Those seeking a grant would need to demonstrate that they have skin in the game. This is not a handout. It requires some non-state matching funds. But in these small communities, this grant could make a significant difference in allowing them to continue to operate safe and competitive facilities, as well as to consider turning those facilities into year-round destinations. In front of you, you have a fact sheet outlining how the state of Minnesota will see benefit from this program. The front of the bill shows you where we have current facilities, and the back shows you the economic impacts of both downhill skiing as well as ski jumping. One of my key issues when I decided to run for office was to help drive economic opportunities in my communities and as well as throughout greater Minnesota. And this program will do that. Today I have a few individuals here who will talk to you more directly about the ski industry and the impact on the state of Minnesota. So I'll finish my comments, and I'd like to turn over the testimony to Lucy Botzik, the Executive Director of the Minnesota Ski Association.
Good morning. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and committee members. I'm Lucy Botzik. I'm Executive Director for the Minnesota Ski Areas Association, and thank you so much for the time to hear this bill. I will be brief and concise. There are 18 ski areas in Minnesota. You can see those from the map. Of those, 5 of them are public in some fashion, and the other 13 have some sort of private structure to them. 5 of those are actually family areas that are second and I think in one case a third generation business. Why should the state invest in us? Well, we're a key component of the winter ski industry in Minnesota, and obviously our areas, particularly in greater Minnesota, are a key economic driver and sustainer for their communities in which they are found. On the handout, you will see Table 2, which gives some additional economic impact information. This is a result of a study that we had commissioned by a national firm in 2013, and you can see that the dollar impact of the industry is fairly significant. In addition to that, we actually rank 8th overall in skier visits in the nation amongst all the other ski states. There's always also information on the value that we provide on the Explore Minnesota website. 24% of Minnesota travel occurs in the winter, and of that, at least 8% of that includes either skiing or boarding in the state. So finally, just quickly to give you an idea of how we would be able to utilize this money. Obviously, our folks are kind of the snow farmers of the state, so they have a weather contingency issue just like farmers do. This is actually the 4th difficult season that we faced. Many have had to close early because of ice and rain. But they all have infrastructure issues. Some of the smaller ones have more significant ones. Just as a couple examples, they all have lifts. If they were to replace their lift, the cost ranges from $800,000 to over $1.2 million. They all need snowmaking guns, and obviously all of this infrastructure wears out. Those are roughly $18,000 apiece, and an area may need from 10 to 150. You also need the water pipes and the electrical systems to support the snowmaking guns. Those range from $800,000 to $5 million to replace. Grooming equipment, again, all of the areas need. Those start at $375,000, and those, they could need 5 or 6 depending on the size of the ski area. And finally, as any other business, you need to adapt to the customer wants and needs. So many of the areas are looking at putting these conveyors on their bunny hills in particular. Everybody wants to move fast today and want to get up the hill and get down the hill and then back up. So that's a significant investment. Those are $275,000 plus. So particularly for your greater Minnesota areas, this bill would be a big boon. We're used to doing our fair share. We've got a great partnership with Explore Minnesota, and we put money in, and they help us with advertising across the state. And the areas would expect to do the same here, just to give them a little help so that they can stay in business and stay competitive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Representative Haley, I almost called you Senator Haley. What was that all about? Jeez.
I'm not sure.
Hey, is there?
Go ahead.
Do you have any other testifiers?
Yes, I would like to bring up Ryan Sanders. He's a U.S. Olympian, to talk about the opportunity that we have as a state to introduce ski jumping and to actually host an international competition.
Welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Thank you. Yes, Brian Sanders. I'm Executive Director and co-founder of the American Ski Jumping Hall of Fame and Museum in Red Wing, Minnesota. Mr. Chairman and committee, if I might just quickly introduce some distinguished guests here today that are important to us. If they would just stand and hold your applause maybe till the end. Pat Lyons from the St. Paul Ski Club, the oldest ski club in the United States. Active program today, 1885. Also from Duluth is Steve Saito, former U.S. ski team, a Federation International Skiing judge, just fresh back from the the World Junior Championships in Park City. Greg Winsberger, coach of the 1984 and 1988 Olympic teams, also a 76 Minnesota Olympian. And Jimmy Joe Grahek, the pride of Ely, Minnesota, and the winner of the 1980 Olympic trials in Lake Placid. In addition, last and certainly not least, I'd like to introduce Blake Johnson from the Prairie Island Indian community. You might wonder how that fits. First of all, Blake was in my kindergarten class when I was student teaching many years ago, along with his brother, so I'm aging. And it's great to see kids here in the audience today. Just to mention that our current partnership on the new Olympic-sized large hill ski jump that we are preparing to build in Red Wing is very unique in that it involves a land share of a Prairie Island Indian community, a sovereign nation, sharing land with an American-founded organization. I just find that very unique, that a group would be willing to help us in that endeavor. So thank you to our guests today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
As I mentioned, I'm the co-founder of the American Ski Jumping Hall of Fame Museum, located in the historic St. James Hotel in Red Wing. This was the site of headquarters for the 1928 and 1936 national championships. Also, few people know that the National Ski Association, which later became what is known today as the United States Ski Association in Park City, those early organization meetings of the National Ski Association were organized in Red Wing. And Red Wing is additionally the birthplace of ski competition in America. February 8th, 1887, the first ski competition, ski jumping competition, which came actually before Alpine, how this fits together in our state. If you can't tell from my passion, I'm also a third generation Minnesota ski jumper and a proud 92 Olympian from Stillwater. I just encourage anyone, if they ever have the chance to go through Red Wing, to stop in the hotel. It's a free museum to see the museum timeline of skis from 1887 to modern day and the history that's taken place in Minnesota that we're so proud of. Ironically, you might learn on a day like today about Barney Riley, the Flying Irishman from Coleraine, Minnesota, who at the age of 18 won his first championship and then went on to serve in the U.S. Army and was nominated to the Ski Hall of Fame by the junior jumpers from the Mount Itasca Junior Club program in Coleraine, Minnesota, one of the oldest junior programs, again, in the country and still active today. As you learned just a little bit from some of the speakers today, testifiers, about this statewide effort for the Minnesota Snow Angel Bill, it's important to consider some of the important research from our own University of Minnesota recreation and wellness programs that talks about students who participate in outside of the classroom experiences. They have higher GPAs, higher retention rates, they graduate earlier and on time, they're more socially integrated in the campus community, and they have a greater recognition for their college experience than students who do not participate in those outside experiences. I mention that because all of that research is transferable to all ages, all activities, the workplace, professionally, throughout our entire life. So important research about getting outside, being involved in additional activities. The Snow Angel bill actually began as an outcome of a feasibility study that was conducted in Red Wing in October and November of 2015 with support from the Red Wing Area Fund and the Red Wing Port Authority. The study looked to identify area interest just in that specific area from business leaders, community leaders, service organizations, and other community members to build an Olympic-sized large hill with a surface, a year-round surface. Yes, we ski year-round now. With a cross-section of over 70 interviews, resulting in just over 95% of the people that were interviewed in that cross-section indicated that they believe this project had great merit, not only for historical purpose, outdoor recreation purpose, but also the strong potential economic impact that can be identified from a facility like this. And we're using cases of Lake Placid and Park City and Calgary. The ski jump becomes a gathering point for all of these other activities. Ski jumping is also the largest, we see the largest crowds for ski jumping events in the Olympics of any outdoor event across Europe still today. So it is a large gatherer. So with encouragement from local area I'm sorry, just catching up here. Anyways, in many cases, these ski programs, not only the ski jumping, Nordic and the Alpine and snowboarding programs, offer free introduction programs. In fact, the Olympians I've mentioned today all learned through these Minnesota club programs for free. They were introduced to the sport. As much as we proudly call ourselves the state of hockey, we are also the birth state for competitive skiing. We're the state with the oldest ski club in America, the birthplace for competition, and these programs have existed now for well over 100 years through the support of volunteers. The Minnesota Snow Angel bill is about our state's great history, it's about youth and outside experiences, and it's certainly about economic impact and dollars being spent throughout the state from visitors. I just want to say thank you for hearing us today and the consideration of one of Minnesota's great assets. Appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Representative Haley, do you have any
Mr.
other
Chair.
testifiers?
Yeah, I'd like to be respectful of your time, so very briefly with another testifier.
Welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record.
My name is, Mr. Chair, members, my name is Avo Taipalet. I'm the owner of the Finciso Ski Shop, soon 40 years in St. Paul, and I've been a member of the Minnesota ski community since 1972. First time, 1973, I went to ski the Battle Creek Regional Park, and at that time I recognized that we have such a jewel in the middle of the metro that nowhere else in the world is such a beautiful, attractive place for all kinds of year-round recreation. Recent years, snow has been giving us a tricks. Meanwhile, when I skied first time, I have become the coach of the University of Minnesota ski team, and we had Twin City Metro girls winning 2 national championships in Nordic skiing, and much of the time we had to depart the metro area because we didn't have snowmaking and the proper facilities to ski. Out of those people I've coached, have 7 Olympic visits, and most recent is Jessie Dickens from Afton State, our Afton area, and she won 2 World Championship medals in Lahti, Finland, where I was witnessing it. Also, Finciso employs up to 18 people in the ski shop. Many of them are students or retired people, and they have been with me 6 years. They become engineers, they become doctors, they become scientists. But Nordic skiing has been their passion. But facilities, what we have in the metro area are not reliable. 30 high schools in East Metro is depending on that. And this year particularly, we had to cancel numerous training sessions. I employ hockey parent, and a hockey parent and his daughter have never come to me and said, I had to cancel the practice. Hockey coaches do that in beautiful facilities. Nordic coaches come to me, we had to cancel buses, or we had to hire buses to go somewhere in distant places. So economic impact is big for the community. We had 2,000 masters, national masters championships in Battle Creek Park. We couldn't handle the races there because we didn't have guaranteed snow. I just came back from the World Championships in Lahti, Finland, and went to Sweden, Mora. They all have snowmaking facilities in order to get events nowadays. We cannot bring national events to Battle Creek unless we have a snowmaking there. That has to be the guarantee nowadays. Finsisu has invested into the Battle Creek Park by designing and helping to pay bulldozing trails there, which are now world-class and certified by FIS. I ask your support for this project because this community deserves. Since 1939, Battle Creek has been the most famous jumping place in the country. Largest ski hill was in Battle Creek. So let's return Battle Creek into the world-class category by providing snowmaking. I thank you very much for your hearing me, and I hope your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Mr. Chair. Nick Riley from Ramsey County, also known as the low-flying Irishman from St. Paul. I just want to reiterate what everybody said. You know, when we get people interested in skiing of any kinds, jumping, cross-country, downhill in the metro area, that's where they go outstate and spend the money at these other facilities. So we really need to spend some money on these winter sports if we expect them to continue. And I just hope that you will consider this as part of your package. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public who wish to testify on this bill? Good morning, welcome, or good afternoon, welcome to the committee. State your name for the record and proceed to the testimony.
Hi, my name is Chris Brose, that's B as in boy, R-O-Z as in zebra. I'm the volunteer program and facility director for the World Cup caliber ski jumping facility that's located in Bloomington. In working with the Minnesota Super Bowl host committee for nearly 2 years now, we've actually officially been considered one of the 2018 Bold North exclusive featured events. We will either be the grand opening show for their 10-day schedule of events or the grand finale exhibition the day or two before the big game. The sport in our facility had been cherry-picked by the Super Bowl committee as the kind of like the embodying unique Minnesota culture, both with high-flying spectator awe, but also with recognition that our events are all put together with thousands of hours each year from a 100% volunteer group of avid enthusiasts. Guaranteeing the upcoming events has become a concern for our organizers. Given some specific infrastructure shortcomings, we were only open 24 hours total this past winter. Critical funding is needed to install sport-specific technology that would lengthen the ski season and unquestionably answer to the powers that be that we can guarantee our engagement in the Bold North festivities. Looking long-term about how this investment works for the state, the National Ski Federation has made it very clear that should we be able to make these required improvements, we'd also open the door to guaranteeing Minnesota with either national championship level events or international World Cup caliber events every year. These elite events bring athletes, families, spectators, and officials to the area on an annual basis, as well as will enable us to provide employment to our facility caretakers, coaches, and officials. With the limited time we are open this season, we still hosted over 5,000 spectators and athletes from all over the state, region, and even overseas. Thanks again for considering our request, as the funds are critical to use as quickly as possible, and we are on national display next year. We want to make sure that we're showing off that we do have the world's best football stadium, but we also have some of the best ski facilities on earth. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Seeing no additional public testimony, we'll move to member comments and questions. Representative Lehman, Scott, and Metza.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess I have some comments and maybe a question for your maybe first testifier, Representative Haley. I am a co-author of this bill. I didn't make the list of the top 5, but I'm way down the list someplace. I was really excited to see this thing come forward because of the Itasca Ski Club in Coleraine, Minnesota, which is in my district. This is a ski club that exists today just because of volunteers. Just the scrappy, hard-charging, high-energy volunteers that are producing Olympians like Jim Denny of the area. And so I applaud the effort here. A couple of questions, and I see that there's, on the map, there's a mixture of private, probably something nonprofit, maybe some public ski hills. And I'm wondering, number one question is, have these ski hills ever received any kind of state funding in the past? And would they all be eligible under this program equally? Or are you targeting the private clubs maybe that haven't received any public money in the past? Or how do you envision this playing out?
To the testifier.
Mr. Chair, members, again, Lucy Bonsick with the Skiers Association. The way it is written, everybody would be eligible, but some of the criteria include the availability of other funds, so that while technically a Giants Ridge or some of the other publics would be able to qualify, the fact that they do sometimes have other funds available, bonding dollars or whatever, that might impact the ultimate decision as to how much they would get or when they might be funded.
Can I add into that, Lucy? Also, the language in the bill states that they have to have non-state funds as part of when they submit their grant request. In addition, that 70% of the potential grant money goes to outstate Minnesota and 30% in the traditional metropolitan area.
Okay, just a follow-up question,
Yes,
Mr.
President
Chair, if I could. I see that this originated in Red Wing. Lots of good things come out of Red Wing, I see, Representative Haley.
Thank you for mentioning that, Representative Lehman.
But I'm wondering about and I see lots of representation from the metro area and other parts in the audience. How engaged have these other ski hills been in this request? Have you worked with them? Have they participated in putting this together?
Mr. Chair and Representative Lehman, they have been involved to the extent that they're able to, since they've all been running a ski area, and I have talked to particularly Ski Gull and Buena Vista and Powder Ridge and a couple of the other smaller greater Minnesota area, Mount Itasca.
Yes.
In fact, we were able to have Mount Itasca open as a ski area this year, and the association did an awful lot of marketing things to help them. So the smaller areas are aware of this. Were this to pass, I would suspect I would be spending an awful lot of time helping them get their grant applications in. Because I actually talked to one of the areas, and they could disappear if there isn't some assistance long-term. And that's not a very long-term either.
Representative Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I had a question for Mr. Sanders. Ski jumping is one of my favorite Olympic events to watch. There's no question about it. I marvel at the people that have the guts to do it. I'm just wondering, this is kind of a not very serious question, but how many broken bones have you had? And maybe combined with the people up in the audience, what would the grand total be?
I'm so glad you asked that question. I never have had an injury on the hill. I've had, so, I'm past the competitive part. I also, very important to point out that ski jumping, actually, the Federation of International Skiing has done reports on injuries, and per capita, the most dangerous is alpine events, the racing, the free skiing, and then actually cross-country racing, and we actually have the fewest amount of injuries of any of the winter ski sports. We've become a very safe sport. It wasn't always that way, but it is today. In fact, the last Olympic Games in Sochi, there wasn't a single fall during the competition in the ski jumping events. So, yeah, we've come a long way.
Mr. Chair, one more question. Okay, so I don't know how many people in this room have ever seen the movie Eddie the Eagle, but what a fascinating story. I don't remember what era that was. Do you know him?
Absolutely. And if you saw the movie, I'm forgetting the actor that plays the coach, but the actual coach for Eddie the Eagle at the Calgary Olympics was here, Greg Winsberger from Shoreview, Minnesota.
Okay, wow. Wow. I think that was played by, who's the guy that plays?
So, Hugh Jackman, yes. And Hugh was the only one that they could get to kind of play Greg Winsberger's
Sure.
place.
Not quite as
but
good
no,
looking, but close. Yeah.
in actuality, Greg embraced Eddie at those games, and in some ways, the U.S. team took him under his wing, and Greg flagged him. So we take credit for the Brits. Yeah.
That's great. Nice Minnesota connection.
Representative Newberger, and then we'll go to Representative Haley for a closing comment.
Quick follow-up. So you're not that guy on the Wide World of Sports?
No, no, and he did walk away from that fall. But
Mr. Agony of defeat. Yeah. Representative Haley, closing comments?
I thank you all for considering this bill. I hope you go away this morning with the appreciation that this isn't fluff, no pun intended. This is a serious economic development bill and will allow the state of Minnesota to stand out as a place for skiing and bring in tourists and bring in a lot of economic dollars to the state. So I appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, Representative Metzer renews his motion to have House File 2367 laid over for possible inclusion in a later bill. Thank you. Next will be House File 1143.
Yeah. Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Mr. Chair, thank you. Before Representative Graffel gets up there, I also brought treats today. I recognize mine aren't quite as chocolatey. I'm celebrating my vesting in Social Security today as my birthday, so I wanted to treat everybody with the hope that you'll keep contributing so that I can keep enjoying.
Well, we could take any treats we want up here, but I wanted to admonish the bill, the chief author of this particular bill, that brevity is always appreciated on a Friday. So, Mr. Chair, if you would like to present your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. House File 1143. First of all, I move House File 1143 for possible inclusion in a later bill. And the bill before you today is to provide a grant to Sutton Academy OIC. This provides fundings for support for GEDs as well as for employment and employment placement program. This is a one-time appropriation, and I have with me a testifier to talk a little bit about the services that are offered and why I'm choosing to offer this bill.
Mr. Chair, before you testify, is this going to be laid over for possible inclusion?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. King.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and Mr. Chair, members of the committee, thank you for having me before you today. Briefly, I came here in 1989 as an Army officer assigned to the University of Minnesota for a 3-year tour. Somehow, my records got lost, and I've been here 28 years. Over that 28-year period, I've either volunteered or worked as a professional in North Minneapolis. I was astounded to find a community where people didn't work and the underworld, welfare, and the criminal justice system were prevalent. I spent 4 years on the Minneapolis School Board. I'm trying to have an impact on education, and after one term, decided it was best to focus on putting parents to work. In 1996, I led a merger to form Summit Academy OIC, a part of the OIC family, 38 affiliates across the nation, and the OIC that was founded in Minnesota is 50 years old this year. We believe that the best social service program in the world is a job. As a quantitatively driven operation, we pride ourselves on the fact that this year over 700 people will attend the OIC, no cost, no loans, fully accredited post-secondary institution. The average wage is coming in is roughly $4,000 a year, and we can get them good jobs at $33,000 to $35,000 a year in the construction industry and $28,000 to $30,000 in healthcare. We recognize that nothing can replace two working parents in taking care and raising their children, making communities strong, and keeping our region vibrant. In the 90s, our workforce grew by 47,000 people a year. By the year 2020, as many of you know, workforce growth will actually slow to zero. We have no people to leave on the sidelines. As a result of our efforts, we found that there are 72,000 people in Hennepin County alone who do not have high school diplomas or GEDs. They are effectively on the sidelines. To put that number into context, the population of Brooklyn Park is 78,000. And mind you, that's men, women, and children. If we gave these 72,000 people one child each, they would be the third largest city in the state of Minnesota. You can imagine what that city would be like. Further, there are 20,000 African Americans in Hennepin County without a high school diploma or GED. This is the size of Golden Valley. And again, if we gave them half a child, they would be at 30,000, the size of Brooklyn Center. We developed a program that provides contextualized GED. We bring them in cohorts. They come to class every day for 10 weeks, and then they matriculate into the 20-week program. Our 20-week program overall has an 80% placement rate, and a longitudinal study has confirmed that 81% of our people are working 3 years after graduation. We can take people who are outside the economic mainstream, provide them with training, provide them with a network, and attach them to the workforce. We recently completed a pilot of the program which showed that if they finish the first 10 weeks, they perform better on the Accuplace or the entrance exam than people walking in off the streets. Further, they also have a higher retention rate in the 20-week program. However, the first 10 weeks, as you might imagine, are really tough for these folks. Most of them dropped out in 11th grade when they were 17 years old and their brains were not fully yet developed. Anyone who has teenagers understands what I'm saying. By the time they come to us, they're in their mid-20s. They have children, criminal records, they've had drug problems, housing instability, but yet they have the spark to get up and come in every day. As a result, we're launching Summit Prep, which will be a 4-week boot camp prior to coming into the 10-week program, so we can attach them to the institution, allow them to form cohorts, strengthen their academic stamina and performance, help them with stability. Some people are sleeping on trains and trying to come to class every day. That is not sustainable. And then finally, we do deal with the emotional intelligence factor. Many of them have been living in a world that has different set of values than the middle class. It's our intent to bring them into our family, help them learn how to navigate conflict, get their academic skills, and then attach them to employers who now are screaming for employees and need good, solid workers. We thank you for considering this measure, and if you stick with us, we're going to produce workers who can help to keep our area strong. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. King. Mr. Chair, do you have any closing comments?
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, I think that the
Well,
testifier.
apparently we have a question. Representative O'Neill?
Thank you. I just have a quick question. Maybe you said this, but I was distracted by all the donuts. So Chair Garofalo, is this something that we have appropriated for in the past, or is this a brand-new appropriation?
Chair Garofalo.
Mr. Chairman, Representative O'Neill, Summit Academy OIC partners with many other organizations. So in the last session, there was not a direct appropriation, correct? So the thinking for this is that, I think Mr. King said this best, is that we're seeing in this committee a growing problem, not with a shortage of jobs, rather with a shortage of employees. And we can't afford to leave people on the bench. So those with a proven track record of being able to get those from the sidelines, educated, and into the workforce merit attention.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Chair Garofalo, any closing comment?
No, this is a program I support, and I hope it's something that the committee can support going forward.
Seeing no other questions or comments, this bill is laid over for possible inclusion in an omnibus bill at a
Thank you,
later
Mr.
date.
Chairman.
Representative Haley, I think you have House File 1650. Representative Haley? Welcome to the committee again, and I will, we are not voting on any of these particular bills, so brevity is always welcome on a Friday. Representative Haley, do you have anyone in particular that you would like to move your bill?
No.
Representative Scott, how about you?
I would love to move House File 1650.
For possible inclusion in a later date?
Yes, sir. Madam.
Representative Haley, present your bill.
Thank you, Chair and members, for hearing House File 1650. And in the interest of brevity, I'll make one opening comment, and I'll turn it over to my testifiers to tell the rest of the story. Southeastern Minnesota is a jewel to this state, and particularly the community of Wabasha. And the bill before you is to an economic development and tourism bill, and we'd like to tell you more about the Eagle Center and the efforts to improve the riverfront in Wabasha. I will turn it over to my testifiers.
Thank you, and if you'd identify yourself for the record, and please proceed.
Thank you, Representative Haley. Mr. Chair and Committee, my name is John Friedmeier. I am the President of the City Council as well as the President of the Port Authority in Wabasha. I'll be brief as well. We're looking at 3 different projects within this request. The first one is riverfront revitalization. The second one is an expansion of the National Eagle Center. The third one is a regional event and conference center. I'm sure you probably all know, but arguably we're the oldest community in the state of Minnesota. We've always been a river town, and we're still a river town. Our commerce has changed radically since the early times. We are now a tourist community, and we realize that we need to do certain things to continue to invest and grow that both locally and regionally. Our riverfront isn't well accessed currently for commercial passenger riverboats as well as for small riverboats. We recognize that this is a great opportunity, certainly for the fact that both Red Wing and Winona have made major commitments and investments in their riverfronts. We've had riverboats come and tie up in our community, and they use trees to tie up. So it's not very, we need to do something more appropriate. Our goal is to make an area that's far more accessible to both our downtown economic area and as well as the National Eagle Center that's adjacent to where we would be doing this right on the river. With all that being said, the Chamber of Commerce, who's very vibrant in our community, I'm sure you've heard of some of the different community events and functions that we put on, probably most famously is the Septoberfest. They recognize as they draw more and more visitors to our area that their needs, those visitor needs, are changing as well, and they're looking for event space, conferencing space, and we haven't any. They're taking the lead in helping to develop something for that need. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rolf Thompson, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. Mr. Thompson, please come to the witness table and identify yourself for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Rolf Thompson. I'm the Executive Director of the National Eagle Center in Wabasha, Minnesota. The National Eagle Center is a world-class 15,000 square foot visitor and education center right on the banks of the Mississippi River. We were designated as the National Eagle Center by then Congressman Gil Gutnick, who got the designation in about 1999. Our mission is to educate the public about bald eagles and golden eagles, North American eagles, as well as so the biology, ecology, and the conservation story, the recovery of the bald eagle from near extirpation in our country, but also the cultural significance. Since 1782, when the bald eagle was designed into our national symbol, was designed into the Great Seal of the United States, it has become a symbol recognizable only second to our flag as the essence of American freedom and patriotism. We're home to 6 live eagles that we take care of that are part of our visitor experience and the educational experience. The National Eagle Center allows visitors to be literally this close to live eagles and then look out our windows and see them every day in the wild in their natural setting. From the beginning, the National Eagle Center was an economic development initiative of the Wabasha, of the community of Wabasha. This, roughly 12 years ago, the Port Authority of Wabasha came to the state legislature and asked for $1 million investment, which the state made roughly 12 years ago. That investment has returned to the people of Minnesota in amazing ways. Today, the National Eagle Center draws over 83,000 visitors a year from every state in the country, last year from 115 countries around the world. People come to Wabasha, to southeast Minnesota, to the region to see this phenomenon perhaps you've seen in the media in the last few weeks, the abundant eagles, the wild eagles as they're migrating north. Today, the National Eagle Center is a thriving 501c3. We employ 25 people, 12 full-time, generate about $1.25 million in revenues. None of our operations comes from public sources. We're self-sustaining. This month alone, the month of March, during our Soar with the Eagles Festival, we'll attract roughly 11,000 visitors to Wabasha, certainly an incredible boost to our hospitality, to our restaurants in the area during this month. That kind of demand has created needs for us to expand, and we need more space for our live eagles, for our visitor experience, for our education experience, and that type of thing. In addition, we have an amazing opportunity as an organization, as a community, as a region, and indeed the state of Minnesota. The opportunity is a gift of a world-class museum-quality collection of depictions of eagles throughout American culture and history. As I said at the outset, since 1782, the bald eagle has become a symbol, second only to our flag, of American freedom, patriotism, strength, and all sorts of things. It has been used in countless ways, commercially, in political campaigns, in our military and with veterans organizations, and on and on. This collection is over 20,000 items valued at millions of dollars that has been committed to the National Eagle Center as a 501c3 nonprofit. So we need to expand to meet our current demand and to provide housing and the opportunity to interpret this collection of very meaningful museum things. We anticipate that this expansion will be a catalyst for business development. Indeed, we've already acquired four buildings on our historic Main Street, just across the alley from our current facility. We expect to do historic renovation and preservation of these buildings to incorporate them into our visitor experience. We anticipate the addition of 4 to 6 full-time equivalents, a 50% increase in our attendance as we're able to expand, and probably most importantly, worldwide recognition of the National Eagle Center and Minnesota as the most comprehensive location focused on education about eagles and their meaning and impact throughout American history. Our total expansion price tag, we expect to be in the neighborhood of $15 million. We are asking in a bonding request $5 million investment from the state. We have already raised from, in the very early phase of our private capital campaign, just under $2 million in commitments. We're at the very leading edge of our private capital campaign for the National Eagle Center. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to turn it over now to one last testifier, Mr. Bill Jewson from the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you. Please come to the table and identify yourself for the tape.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. My name's Bill Jewson, member of the Chamber of Commerce and also on the board of the Regional Event and Conference Center. We're asking for bonding in the amount of $400,000 for funding the Regional Event Center. It's an important part of both the Eagle Center expansion and Wabasha's continued development as a major tourist destination in southeast Minnesota. Chamber has initiated a cooperative partnership with the city of Wabasha that currently draws 25,000 visitors a year. And funding for the Regional Event Conference Center would enable the Chamber to secure a permanent site so we can continue to fund our full-time Chamber director and increase our tourism. Without a permanent site, we may lose our ability to have Grandpa's Boutique Barn, which is an annual fundraiser during Oktoberfest that generates more than $40,000 of income to fund the tourism in Chamber. The success of our events, Oktoberfest, Grumpy Old Men, Riverboat Days, Soar with the Eagles, it keeps tourists coming and maintains and enhances the already existing businesses in Wabasha. This will allow us to maintain a full-time Chamber of Commerce for tourists and also for people reaching out to locate and generate new businesses in Wabasha. Would increase jobs in the community by providing a convention facility that would hold 200 to 400 people, and that would increase the amount of tourists in Wabasha, creating a demand for more small businesses and jobs. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there, do you have any other testifiers?
No, Chair.
Are there any questions by the committee? Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, I do appreciate seeing the letter from the Prairie Island Indian community in support of this bill. I think it's really important, and I don't know if you mentioned it, but certainly the cultural significance of eagles was mentioned in their letter, and I just want to highlight that. One of the things I know from the Eagle Center is that there's some rehabilitation that happens with eagles that are brought there too. I've happened to been in a couple situations where those eagles have been brought to a community gathering. And I'm just wondering, I don't know who would be the person to ask this question, but in that issue of rehabilitation, in another committee, I learned about the dangers, endangerment of our eagles from lead that's in the shot that is sometimes used, or is in many times found in venison that the eagles are feeding on. And I'm just wondering what you might tell me. Is that one of the issues that you're dealing with there in that rehabilitation of our eagles, or are you seeing a downturn in them, or how are we doing with that issue?
Sure, Mr. Chair, committee members. Again, Rolf Thompson from the National Eagle Center. We first of all, we're not a rehabilitation center. Our live eagles that we care for and use in our education programs, we call them our Eagle Ambassadors. They are all considered non-releasable birds. They have either sustained an injury or have a condition that means they wouldn't be able to survive on their own living in the wild. And so the Fish and Wildlife Service deems them non-releasable. We operate under permits from the Fish and Wildlife Service to use them in our educational programs. But we do acquire our birds from rehabilitation centers like our own Raptor Center at the University of Minnesota. Occasionally we take in injured birds, but our role is to get them to the Raptor Center. In the case of lead poisoning, this is an issue that we teach about every day at the National Eagle Center, that indeed it is known that a very small fragment of lead can cause paralysis and eventual death, a very small fragment of lead, and we educate about this every day at the National Eagle Center.
Thank you.
Representative O'Neill?
That's okay. For the sake of time, I'll pass.
Representative Metza?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And just so testifiers know, as we get into bonding, I think it's important to contact Speaker Doubt, who in the majority has said there's no need for a bonding bill this year after not passing one, which would decrease the amount available to all communities statewide, and just would encourage you to stay in touch with your legislators to keep that pressure on, because I do feel with the capacity we have, that is an important issue to talk about this year.
And that's a statement, not a question. Are there any other questions? Seeing none. Any final comments from the author?
I appreciate your time today and appreciate your support, and I want to comment briefly again on the art collection that has been donated to the Eagle Center. This is a worldwide collector. Again, the value is in the millions of dollars, and this individual marketed his collection worldwide and was so moved by his visit to the Eagle Center that decided to donate that collection. So it would stand out for the state of Minnesota as something that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. The funds would be used, as you heard, to house that collection in addition to the other economic development. So I would invite you all at another time to visit in Wabasha, and we can show you more about that. Today, I appreciate your support of this bill.
Thank you. And with that, would Representative Scott renew her motion to possible inclusion? No, laid over to at this time. There's no need for a vote. Thank you very much. You're on your way. Representative Newberger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members. I'd like to move that House File 1317 be laid over for possible inclusion in a later bill. Mr. Chair.
Proceed with your testimony.
Thank you. House File 1317, this is third time's a charm, and I'd like to call it maybe the Wagenius Newberger project. I see that Representative Wagenius isn't here. This is we're tight on some things, and this is something I think that we would be tight on here.
Brevity might help you at this particular point.
Yes. Well, members, Mr. Chair, just a real brief history. In my district, we have the cities of Clear Lake and Clearwater. In the early 2000s. They were given an unfunded EPA mandate to build a new water treatment center that serve both of these communities. It cost them about $12 million to do so. And in the process, they were also hit with a federal moratorium that stopped any new construction of any buildings until this treatment center was completed. That was right at the peak of the housing boom at that time, and it basically excluded them from competing with other communities. Once they got that done, what we found was it forced the cost, the bonding costs and the energy costs to operate this water treatment plant back in 2000 was one of the highest in the states, and unfortunately the residents of Clear Lake and Clearwater have some of the highest water treatment bills in the state. I have been to community meetings, I've been to city council meetings where you have many individuals who are on fixed incomes who are literally in tears at these meetings. They're holding up their water treatment bills, their sewer bills in tears because they can't afford it. there's truly a crisis situation, in my opinion, taking place there. I have old folks that are on fixed incomes, members who flush their toilets once a day. That's all they can afford. So suffice to say, I've been working with these cities. This is the third time we've tried to get this through. What we have here also, in my opinion, is a unfunded, it's a forced environmental issue, because what happens, I'm going to take you on a really quick journey. When you flush your toilet, the fluids, the product of that goes into the treatment center, and then what happens is it goes into a big holding pond. Simply put, once the holding pond gets really full, it's treated with water. The water has phosphorus in it. The solids are then, once the holding pond becomes full, the solids are loaded into a truck, and they're taken away, and then 60 million gallons of wastewater that's treated with phosphorus gets dumped into the Mississippi River. Downriver it goes. This is all EPA mandated. So what our communities are trying to do here is they're trying to rectify this situation by using less energy, cleaner and cheaper. They're trying to be more environmentally friendly, and by doing so, they'll be able to lower the cost of the rates. By doing this, it's called a geotube. It's like a big composting tube. When you flush, everything goes through a filter. The solids are put into this geotube that's injected with bacteria, and it's aerated. And then the fluids get treated. They don't need phosphorus. The fluids become basically inert water. The water goes back into the local aquifer, not into the Mississippi River. And then the solids, they get composted. Basically, they get turned into dirt, and it gets spread out into the fields. So this, the Wagenius Neuberger project, I knew I would get her attention, this is environmentally friendly. You're hearing me say this. It's environmentally friendly. And also, I think it's the responsible thing to do.
So now the Vikings are actually going to win a Super Bowl, now that hell's frozen over.
So anyway, members, what we're looking here, I've worked with the cities a number of times on this bill. We've been able to reduce the price down to $1.2 million. We'd be looking for bond sales for that. But also there's skin in the game as well. These cities have to come up with a portion of the funding in order to get this. And if they get any grant, and they also have to, they're also compelled, they're forced actually to apply for at least 2 more grants above and beyond that to offset the cost. If these grants are won, if they get this additional money, then the money that they would have taken from bonding would get returned back into the general fund. So that's a win-win situation. Members, that's the bill. In my opinion, it's the right thing to do on every level. It's cleaner, it's cheaper, and thank you. We'll stand for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So when you said the dry product is spread out over the field, can you tell me where that's spread out?
Representative Newberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Representative Clark, the inert material, it's basically super composted dirt, and it would be used in the agricultural industry. So I would assume it would stay pretty local.
Mr. Chairman?
Representative Clark.
I would really appreciate, if you don't have to do it now if you don't know, but I'd really like to know where that does end up. So could we have that kind of a conversation later? Because there are other things besides phosphorus that are in most wastewater treatment, and some of the things are of concern to farm produce. And I think it's something we've been trying to talk about a little bit, but we're not getting very far in talking about it. So if you could just tell me at least where that is going. Sometimes it's sold, maybe not from that plant, but from other places, either sold or recommended to farmers for spreading on their land, and it, raises some issues.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Representative Clark, I'd be more than happy to follow up with you offline on that.
Thank you.
Representative Metzer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And because it's my wife's birthday too, I don't need this online, but if in a conversation I was having with Bob here on the sideline, Representative Vogel, I was just wondering if you could maybe offline repeat the process that you described to me. I missed one part of it and thought it was very important.
Is there do you have any other testifiers?
No, sir.
Any other questions from members? Representative Thiessen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So do you know if this new process is going to have an impact on reducing hormone disruptors that get into the waste stream?
Representative Newberger.
Representative Thiessen, a hormone disruptor is to my knowledge, is a biological product that, like anything, it would probably be broken down. If you're talking about BGH or HGH, those are naturally occurring things that if they're not within a host, they're going to break down into other particles, just like anything else that doesn't have a metabolism to support it. But I will say this. This process, these geotubes are being used extensively in the Midwest, in Ohio, and in Indiana, and they're also being used by industry, and it's very successful.
Representative Newberger, that brings up actually a good point, and if you could pass along some of that information to the members, it'd probably be helpful for all of our members.
I will. Hormone disruptors.
There you go. Seeing no other questions, this bill is going to be laid over, so thank you, Representative Newberger.
Thank you.
Next up is Representative Baker. House File 1410. And that's going to be laid over. Representative Baker, your bill is, would you like to move your bill for, to be laid over for possible inclusion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, what number are we on? I've got two bills today.
1410.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we lay this over for possible inclusion. Thank you.
Please proceed.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. In front of us today is child care grants. We need more sites around Minnesota that can take care of our kids. 2 years ago, we were able to pass a bill for $500,000, and it was sucked up very, very quickly with over $1.3 million in requests. Those went to good uses. I'm back asking for a bit more this year, and because again, I want to keep this brief and quick, but giving incentives for private child care owners to expand the ability to take care of more of these children and the families so they can get to work is a really important thing. So, members, with that, I'd like to be able to introduce my testifier today, Ms. Gail Kelly.
Welcome to the committee. Please identify yourself for the tape, and please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. My name is Gail Kelly. I'm the Executive Director for the Minnesota Head Start Association. The Minnesota Head Start Association and its partner, the Minnesota Community Action Partnership, support House File 1410 to build child care infrastructure in the early childhood workforce in Minnesota. Together with our child care partners, we struggle to find buildings that are adequate to suit early childhood facilities, to create indoor and outdoor spaces where our young children under 5 will thrive. We particularly have difficulty finding spaces for infant toddler care. So we are also continually trying to prepare new providers for the new demands of this workforce, this work. The child care shortage in Minnesota has further called all of us to partner, to blend our services to ensure low-income working families get high-quality, full-day, full-year learning for infants, toddlers, and preschoolers. Child care centers don't happen on their own in most rural communities, but partnerships among providers, businesses, nonprofits, local government, and religious organizations can offer creative solutions, and the demand for this funding is great. The child care grants authorized in 2016 and administered by the Department of Economic Development and Employment were an opportunity to accomplish some much-needed infrastructure building. They were allowed for child care business startup and expansion, staff training, facilities improvement, and assistance with licensing and meeting parent-aware standards. The $500,000 grant, as Representative Baker mentioned, generated 15 proposals for a tune of $1.3 million, and 8 diverse grants were awarded. Just a few examples. West Central Initiative had a fund of $50,000 for forgivable loan program for about 29 child care providers, stabilizing 250 licensed child care slots. Tri-Valley Opportunity Council did projects in Crookston and also in Sleepy Eye. They proposed to actually add 182 child care spaces. Lakes and Pines Community Action Council in Mora worked with Pine City to improve infant toddler space, and also with the city of Malacca to build they're working to build a new facility. The changes in the 2016 grant process, which are proposed in House File 1410, include allowing a 60-40 rural-urban split for the funding, also providing grantees the opportunity to generate the match with cash and in-kind contributions, and extending the reporting period for 1 year from the receipt of the grant. Head Start and Community Action, thank you for considering this bill for inclusion in your budget.
Representative Baker?
Mr. Chair, we have no more testifiers, and we'll take questions if there's any questions.
Representative Thiessen?
Thank you. Well, Mr. Chair, I just hope that this is a higher priority for us than ski hills.
I think, I would hope that childcare is a higher priority than many things that we're going to be doing. Are there any public Representative O'Neill?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was just wondering, is a blank appropriation, do you have any sense as to how much money would be impactful? How much money do you think it'll ask for?
One or two. With the requests, Mr. Chair, I think with the requests, Representative O'Neill, from last year, we would hope to see this to be between $1 million and $2 million for the biennium. We landed at 1.3 in requests. It was the first time that happened for a long time. We think more would be teed up, ready to do more of this. And I think also with the changes this year in this bill that we did the last time was 60% of the grants have to go to rural this year. That was not specified last time. Rural has some different issues with sustaining long-term or some child care centers. So that would be the changes. So I'm kind of requesting between 1 and 2 million.
Are there any other testifiers on this particular bill? Seeing someone coming down, please identify yourself for the tape and proceed.
Come on down. That's okay.
I'm Stacy Stout with the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Chair and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to talk to you today in support of House File 1410. The Minnesota Chamber represents over 2,300 businesses, mostly small to medium-sized, and the number one concern we hear is workforce shortage. I'm sure this committee is very familiar with that issue. The current need for workers is hindered by the child care shortage across our state. When a potential employee can't find child care, then they can't fill an open job. To increase the number of child care facilities and providers, the Chamber supports targeted resources in early childhood care aligned to parent-aware standards. Therefore, we support this legislation because it will help communities with the documented shortage of child care providers to increase their number of providers in their community. To keep our workforce challenges from hampering economic growth, we must encourage growth of high-quality early childhood care providers. So we hope you will support House File 1410. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or other testifiers? Seeing none.
With that, Mr. Chair, I'd like to again renew my motion that this bill get held over for possible inclusion in a future bill.
I think we can do that. Thank you. Thank you, Representative Baker. You have another bill up, House File 1486.
Yes, I do, Mr. Chair.
Would you like to move your bill?
I would like to move this bill. Mr. Chair and members, this is the displaced homemaker employment bill. I'd like to have this moved for possible inclusion into a future bill, and we have 2 testifiers today.
Well, why don't you bring your testifiers? Oh, you have one. I guess I should pay closer attention.
I'll just give a quick opening statement, Mr. Chair. Displaced homemaker pre-employment program services are primarily used by individuals who have chosen the traditional vocation as homemaker as their primary career path. However, many are facing some real radical occupational changes. Pre-employment services include intensive individualized intervention for family stabilization, workshops, skills training, and academic advising for career development, and assistance with gaining good employment as part of the Adult Careers Pathways programs through DEED. Again, I've got a testifier today, so we'll have them speak to the bill as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Baker. Please identify yourself for the tape and proceed.
Mr. Chair, members, my name is Jean Keenan, and I am a service provider in and a representative of the Minnesota Displaced Homemaker Program. Thank you for the opportunity today. I'd also like to thank those of you with whom we were able to meet earlier, and on behalf of the program, extend our sincere gratitude to Representative Baker for acting as our chief author, and for those of you who have allowed us to have some strong bipartisan support in acting as authors. I'd also like to draw your attention to the first couple rows here behind me. These are representatives of participants and of the program across the state, many of them gainfully employed at this time and have taken the day off to be here with us. You have also received a variety of letters, phone calls, and emails from folks who have been successful partners or participants in the program as well. Thank you for your attention to those. The Minnesota Displaced Homemaker Program is a network of 6 providers across the state providing family stabilization and pre-employment services to individuals who need to enter or re-enter the workforce due to abandonment, divorce, death, disability, or military deployment of a spouse. Reeling from one of these changes without adequate income, and now as single parents, individuals see no alternative often but to turn to the state for financial help. It is our goal to interrupt this cycle of poverty. Every low-income displaced homemaker diverted from welfare saves the state $17,861 annually per family consisting of 1 adult and 2 children. In order to protect children from poverty, we must assist their single parents to reach self-sufficiency. The term homemaker, although antiquated, is an occupational definition used by the Federal Department of Labor. The term continues to be used in recognition of the fact that these individuals are displaced from their very important and primary occupation, homemaking. There are no other programs providing these services which are unique across the state. We operate as an external partner to the Workforce Center system and partner with many service providers, government agencies, and nonprofit organizations. This individualized and client-driven program helps participants to achieve a level of personal confidence and empowerment that will move them towards lasting self-sufficiency through the dignity of work. Participants are served through a combination of activities, including one-to-one self-sufficiency counseling, financial counseling, weekly workshop series, and coordination with any other service providers. Once enrolled, participants are eligible for services for up to a year. Most recently, the average length of service was 41 weeks. This wraparound comprehensive programming is voluntary, offered at no cost to eligible participants, and based on individual clients' expressed needs. So we don't do a program to them, we offer services for them. Each participant works with a provider to develop a unique action plan. It is not a one-size-fits-all program. We offer education to participants around some essential transferable skills and help participants to develop effective job search strategies, even assisting them with computer skills needed to conduct a job search or to even fill out online applications. Finally, and most importantly, the program helps families to stabilize after a crisis by providing holistic and trauma-informed care. We help participants identify resources and navigate the various systems with which they may interface during their transition period, such as the legal system, workforce center system, school system, or even human services if needed. There are currently no tax dollars used to fund the Minnesota Displaced Homemaker Program. Funding is administered through and monitored by the Department of Employment and Economic Development from a portion of marriage license and divorce filing fees, which have been eroding. It is our understanding that when DEED sends out a request for proposal for grants, $3,000 to $5,000 is generally considered an acceptable annual cost per participant. In their most recent Displaced Homemaker program to the legislature, DEED states that the cost per participant for our program was $1,199, significantly less than almost any other program. This report also states that there has been an increase in the number of displaced homemakers served annually. So as you can see, the problem we are facing is an increase in the demand for services and a decrease in the funding available. Each of the 6 providers covers a service area of 7 to 11 counties, covering hundreds of miles, with only 1 or 2 staff people available. Most of these are resource-limited rural counties. Participants we are serving often don't have reliable transportation or gas money to reach us. Sometimes they don't even have a driver's license. We must go to them. Increased funding would increase our capacity to provide services by eliminating excessive drive times to provide the services. For example, if a displaced homemaker lives in Hinckley, the closest provider will need to drive an hour and a half one way from their base office in St. Cloud to meet with that participant. If a participant lives in Alexandria, the nearest provider is an hour and 40 minutes away in Brainerd. Additional staff could be added in the outermost counties to more readily reach these folks. Increased funding would also allow for direct support dollars for participants to eliminate barriers to their training needs or job search that are not covered by other service providers, such as minor car repairs, gas cards, being able to obtain a driver's license or a month's car insurance. We could also help with scrubs to start that new job or steel-toed boots if that's appropriate. We could provide diapers or a child care funds until they get that first paycheck. In my 15 years with the program, I have had the privilege to witness literally thousands of displaced homemakers courageously rebuilding their lives and reaching lasting self-sufficiency. I want you to know that I have been one of them. After the divorce from and later suicide of my son's father, my husband, I desperately needed support to rebuild. I know firsthand that displaced homemakers can and do start over. Thank you again for your time and consideration of House File 1486.
Thank you. Representative Baker, do you have other testifiers?
I think I have one more.
Please identify yourself for the tape and proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Betty Rail, and I'm a former participant of the Minnesota Displaced Homemaker Program. I was a homemaker for 30 years, and that was all that I did. And I raised 3 children. And one day, my husband went to an appointment and never returned. And at that point, I was isolated and grief-stricken. My young adult children had all moved to other states. Recently, that all my family, my immediate family members had all passed away. And so I was totally isolated and alone. I had no community support. I had nobody. And very, very little experience with driving, and I did not know how to put gas in a car. So somebody had called me about this program, about the Displaced Homemaker Program, so I called and made an appointment and drove, very afraid, to where it was based at the Central Lakes College. I was so afraid, I couldn't get out of the car, and the director met me in the parking lot and walked in with me. And from then, I had increased appointments. Getting there, I started going to workshops where I learned about learning how to deal with grief and loss, and life skills, basic life skills, self-esteem, self-confidence. I was gaining. At that point, I was starting to gain because I didn't have anything. And they also taught me how to put gas in my car. And I had support. I started feeling like I had family because I had support from the other participants. And they supported me with gas cards, car repairs, sometimes food, and showing me resources for other community resources for food and clothing. Well, as I was gaining strength in this program, because it was basically a one-on-one, what's good for Betty. Then I decided, I was 53 years old, and I thought, I've got to do something here. And so I enrolled in college. And with the help of this program, I also did some career testing, which let me know that my best niche would be administrative assistant, which, yeah, okay, I know that. I knew that inside here, so I entered that, I enrolled in that program. And then I did work study. So I did the work study in the Displaced Homemaker office. So that was, and then I was of course, they trained me in hands-on office skills. So I did that, did very well in school, and as that was, once I had gotten into that and doing more office skills there, then they felt that I was ready for, to be referred to classes on presenting myself. So I did that, where I got some very serious training in resumes and interview skills, and just learning the business environment etiquette. And because I also was a woman with disabilities, I was referred to vocational rehabilitation services for further resources. And it took me 3 years to finish a 9-month course in school. But in 2015, I had gained such strength that I graduated from college with honors. And I was so ready for employment. I was so strong and so ready for employment, the skills I had learned, that within 3 months from graduating, I was interviewed and I was hired within a week. And I now work full-time for vocational rehabilitation services. And within a year, I was promoted to vocational rehabilitation technician senior. And I thank you for this opportunity to share my story and for you to hear this story. Because personally, when it first started happening, I had attempted suicide 3 times. And I wouldn't be here. But now I am in the community and I'm helping others, and I'm really asking you to consider more funding for this program. Thank you.
Thank you, and we're glad you were not successful in your suicide attempts. It's always delightful to hear from witnesses that the state has been able to help and move on to a new phase of their life. Thank you so very, very much.
And Mr. Chair, Betty is actually doing as good of a job as anybody testifying here today in front of this committee, and so this takes a lot of strength to do, and she's done it fabulously. So she's doing very, very well.
I was thinking there was a couple of business etiquette that you could send some of our legislators to, but I didn't really want to go there.
We have that.
I have one request of the displaced homemakers. If there's someone in the audience that's been helped by the displaced homemakers, if you could please stand.
All right. Good job.
Thank you. Do you have any other testifiers?
I do not.
Thank you, Representative.
Somebody might want to come forward if you ask them, yes. Come on up.
Please identify yourself for the tape and proceed.
Hi, I'm Nicole Rebelke. Thanks for hearing my testimony today. I was a participant in the Displaced Homemaker program, and when I started in the program, I had left an abusive relationship, and it was so bad that I remember being in court and the district attorney said that my case was the worst case she had seen in 10 years, being the district attorney at the county. I just really struggled for a while, and then I met Kim, and the program helped me out so much, and now I'm a licensed social worker working in Wadena County. And I was able to do that within 4.5 years. Go to school, get my AA degree, get my bachelor degree. And without the program and all the stuff that they do, I would not be where I am at.
Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Great story.
We have Representative Metza for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and Representative Baker. I think we've both seen some very moving testimony in the last few days, both in Health and Human Services with some great bills. One that I'm carrying for Catherine's house, which would help with women going through addiction, and just wanted to applaud you and the women today who I know it's really tough to come down sometimes and put yourself in the spotlight, but no, the legislators here think of you all in high honors, and congratulations on your success.
And Mr. Chair, too, I just want to thank Representative Metza and a number of committee members on this committee bipartisanly have signed on to this bill, so I'm very grateful for that support.
Thank you, thank you, Representative Baker. Would you like to renew your motion?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'd like to re-refer House File 1486, the Displaced Homemaker Bill, for possible inclusion to a future bill. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Representative Scott. And thank you to all the displaced homemakers that showed up today and took a day off of work. Representative Scott, you have the last bill of the day, and you have one of my favorite sports, boxing.
All right.
I'm not
What
an
was your
MMA
favorite,
guy.
Mr. Chair? Mr. Chair, I'd like to move that House File 1710 be included for, well, I guess, moved for possible inclusion into a future bill.
Thank you, Representative Scott. Please proceed.
Thank you. House File 1710 would provide a grant of $50,000 to Fighting Chance, a nonprofit gym in North Minneapolis. In 2015, Mr. Burnett converted a vacant fire station into a safe community gathering place. The space hosts a community garden, community kitchen, fitness equipment, and a boxing gym. Fighting Chance is looking to effect positive change in North Minneapolis through boxing and physical fitness, and create a community of hopeful and empowered youth who achieve self-discipline, confidence, compassion, and respect. From Monday to Saturday, approximately 60 youth visit Fighting Chance for exercise, mentoring, and a free meal. Before I turn it over to my testifier, I want to point out that there is a news article from Carrie Levin in your packets that talks about Fighting Chance. My testifier, Ryan Burnett, is the founder of Fighting Chance, and I'd like to turn it over to him at this time, Mr. Chair.
Representative Scott, I have one question before you testify. Is that orange you have today, you have on today, or am I getting more colorblind with, you
No,
know?
this is red and gold.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it has the Iowa State insignia, and, you know, they won their first game in the
I
March
was
Madness
just more
yesterday.
concerned about orange on St. Patrick's Day. To the testifier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Ryan Burnett, and I'm the founder of Fighting Chance Boxing Club. I founded the gym in 2015, as Representative Scott has said, and we took an abandoned firehouse in North Minneapolis that was vacant for 12 years, and we bought it through an RFP from the city of Minneapolis and converted it into what is now a boxing gym that really serves more as a tool to get members of the community and the kids in North Minneapolis in there and off the streets and provide a different alternative. The building itself was built in 1949 and needed a lot of TLC. Everything was, you basically needed one of everything, and it took quite a bit out of the capital campaign, and we managed to raise the money and do it all privately through family foundations in town and generous support of corporations. We've been open just under a year, and as Representative Scott has said, we serve roughly 60 kids a night, and they come through right after school, and they stay until about 8 p.m. And we train them, and then we feed them, and they get fed through, you know, healthy, very healthy meals that are provided from different restaurants in the community. So nutrition is a big part of what we do there, because it's, you know, it's somewhat of a desert. They call it a food desert in North Minneapolis. So we're taking them in, we're showing them what it means to have mentors, to have a family, to have a place that they can come that's safe. So in honor of the unwritten rule of Friday, I will keep it very brief, and I'm open to any questions, and I want to thank you all for your time.
Representative O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll just be brief. I was just wondering if you had some statistics as to how many kids you've served and sort of the outcome, if you have any outcome-based things.
Burnett?
Yes, sir. Thank you. In our first year, we served roughly 280 youth. And as far as the statistics, what we've seen is a lot of these kids had either truancy or anger issues, or just generally not showing up to school and having, a lot of the kids unfortunately come from one-parent households. So what we've seen holistically has been a vast change in their grades, in their ability to go to school, and in their just general disposition. It's a tool, and it helps them get out aggression. Also, it helps us every single day. We focus on what their grades are. So this grant I should have included before. This grant will help us expand our programming to doing tutoring. We'll start the programming in the summer and then have ongoing tutoring afterwards as well, since we built it, they came, and now we're going to improve on what we do. So the impact has been measurable with a vast majority of the kids.
Representative O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just a follow-up. So if you're able to get the grant, then will you keep really close tabs on numbers of kids and what they do? And I'm on public safety too, so we always look at recidivism, those that are arrested and things like that. And I'm not sure if you have those issues with that population, but if you do, if you track those things, if you get the grant.
Indeed, we will. Oh, sorry. Indeed, we will. And it's already begun we've begun the paperwork process, and we have volunteers, as well as our director is charting the course for how often they're coming in, obviously, and then also what their initial grades were, what their truancy was, and we are firmly set in our beliefs that in the short time of the year, we've already made the difference. Plus, with the tutoring aspects, we'll be able to use that as a holistic approach and chart every single kid.
The chair has a question. Do you teach a devastating right hook? Because I do know that a good right hook can get you through 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. Are there any other questions? Representative Moran?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want to thank Representative Scott for bringing this bill forward. I am glad to be an author of this bill, and just thank you for the road that you have taken to really help manage. I'm going to make an assumption that they're young men, who we know are failing so much, in life and in school, and in regards, they often find themselves incarcerated. So having someone who can train them, because boxing is just not about boxing, it's about an attitude. It's so much more than the boxing, and sometimes that structural piece that you're giving them, after school to 8 o'clock is what they need to keep them focused. So just thank you for your work.
Representative Anderson.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Very short. This is a modest grant. Sounds like your program is excellent. And just wondering, for a young guy that gets into this, is there like golden gloves, anything else they can go to continue on with the sport and with the discipline?
Mr. Burnett.
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you. Indeed, we have, like last weekend as an example, there's Golden Gloves tournaments all around. So last weekend we were up in Duluth taking about 20 of our kids. And so we stay at a hotel. Some of these kids have really never seen a hotel or Lake Superior for that matter. So we use, in April 1st, we're going to Milwaukee, and we kind of travel as a group, as a family. So yeah, we're very active in Golden Gloves, and we've compiled a pretty good record in a short time.
Hope you have better luck in Milwaukee than somebody else did.
The Cyclones won in Milwaukee last night. Thank you.
I'm going to be kind to our neighbors to the south and not respond. Any other questions? Any other testifiers? Would you care to renew your motion?
Yes, I'd like to renew my
You know
motion.
how to do that from Iowa.
House File 1710 be laid over for possible inclusion in a future bill.
Thank you, and good luck to you, Mr. Burnett.
Thank you.
Representative Garofalo, do you have a couple of comments?
Well, first of all, if I would have known that you were going to move things that fast, I just would have had you chair the committee all year. So thank you, Representative Mahoney, for subbing. Just for scheduling purposes for members for next week, we are going to be meeting on Monday. I suspect we're going to be meeting on Tuesday as well. So the governor's, I've been hearing through social media, the governor's supplemental budget request is in the process or is being released. So once that gets released, I think in fairly short order, sometime next week, we're going to get our target, and then we're going to move forward from there. But now the governor's supplemental budget is out, I think we're going to start seeing more of that process. And the intent, as with always with this committee, will be we'll release the bill, we'll take public testimony, we'll mark up, and we'll take action on it. But as soon as we know that schedule, and it kind of keys off of when we're going to find out what our target is, I'll make sure to let know Representative Mahoney so that you can share with members of the committee. But if there's questions from the committee, I'm happy to take it right now.
Representative Thiessen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What are we hearing Monday?
Representative Garofalo.
Mr. Chairman, Representative Thiessen, it's predominantly going to be energy bills. But there's going to be a couple other bills in there. Haven't finalized the list yet, but I think you can plan on Monday and Tuesday hearing a lot of energy policy bills.
Representative Thiessen.
Okay, and I guess they'll be held over, but it's just tough to do amendments when the hearing is Monday and the deadline for amendments is already passed.
Oh, and just to be clear, Mr. Chairman and Representative Thiessen, so when we have Monday hearings, it's kind of been my practice that we're flexible about the 24-hour rule, because obviously it doesn't work. So, on the other hand, we don't want to make staff sit here working drafts over the weekend. So, I don't want to offer carte blanche. You can show up with an amendment in committee, but historically it's worked out pretty good. Members and staff understand it.
Representative Garofalo, what time do you expect that hearing to be? Is it an afternoon, seeing how we have a session, or an evening hearing?
It's before session, and I believe it'll be after session. Because we're not going to be done before session. So I think we're starting at 10? Hold on.
Mr. Chair.
Don't ask me these real questions in public, Tim. What are you doing?
Mr. Chair, here's the question I would have is, when will the bills be posted to the internet so that we can take a look at them and get to staff early in the morning on Monday for any amendments that we might need?
Right, and Representative Mahoney, so right now, my understanding is that we're starting off at 10. If there are bills that people would like to craft amendments to, my intent would be to push that back later into the day, or like we did with the Wednesday bills, we moved them to Friday. We could shift the bills from Monday to Tuesday if there's issues with getting amendments designed on them. But I anticipate the vast majority of bills will be laid over for possible inclusion. But again, we'll get that posted out as soon as we can, and if there are problems, we'll make sure we accommodate it so there's plenty of time to have those amendments offered.
So, Mr. Chair, I would suspect that if someone
This is
has...
very awkward, by the way, with you having the gavel when you ask me this question.
Why do you think I was holding on to it? Mr. Chair, I would suspect if someone has a concern or wishes to put an amendment in, they should just notify you that they're going to be writing an amendment Monday morning, because I believe staff should have a weekend off also.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, if it comes up that it's an amendment that can't get drafted in time, we can push it back to later in the day Monday, or we can push it back to Tuesday.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Are there any other comments or concerns or questions?
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone.
Yes, happy St. Patrick's Day. Enjoy the day. We are adjourned.